Hey, I'm Jessica with Electra. So this look was inspired by Scott Barnes, who does JLo's makeup. He posted this look on JLo. I happen to have the Scott Barnes Snatchel palette. It's so beautiful. These are all my signature shades in one palette, and I'm not gonna do everything exactly the same way he did it, but I'll put the picture up right here, and you can kind of see this is what he did on JLo. It's phenomenal. So he listed everything he used, including this palette. So I'm just gonna go crazy and get wild. So I think what I'm gonna do is start with this shade Vintage right here. It's just kind of a boring and beigey color, but I love to put down colors like this first because they give the other colors something to melt into. That's so important. He specifically mixed Brick House, which is my favorite shade ever, and Boudoir. So I'm gonna mix those and put them just in my eye socket. That's different for everybody, and I really enjoy following the socket when you kind of want to open up your eyes. And for me, it's a better cue to tell people than, hey, I'm gonna do the windshield wiper motion, right? I mean, yes, we're kind of doing a windshield wiper. We're also arcing and following that socket. That's what's gonna give you personally your best crease eyeshadow. So I'm gonna keep blending. I'll be back in a second. So next I'm taking just another kind of eyeshadow brush with the shades Hollywood and Starlit. I'm gonna mix these shades and pop them on my lid, starting on the outside and just bringing them in. Even smaller brush, and next he went in with the shade Temptation right here, which is kind of a coffee brown, around the lash line and outer corner. I'm gonna kind of go into the crease a little bit. I'm gonna take that very first brush I used and just sort of go around the edges to make sure everything is nice and blended together. I'm in with Laced, which is this sort of goldy shade, just on the inner corner, and kind of bring that in. I'm going to go in with the Stila Stay All Day. This is just a sample size, but I am literally tracing my lash line with this, just so we have some definition. All right, we are gonna go in foundation now while all of that's sort of settling in. This is my personal favorite makeup foundation combination for a night out. So I start with the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury in shade 4, and I mix that with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD in shade 305, right? Y305. And the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in 5.75. Just like that, my foundation's on. I'm so sorry. I got a phone call I had to take, and this was drying in spots on my face. We didn't want that to happen. So all I do is I mix the three products on the back of my hand and then just tap it on my skin and rub it in. And then, because it is kind of heavy, I take a wet sponge. This is the ELF sponge, and you can see it's like the redness is showing through in my cheek. It takes away just the kind of the top layer, which I really like. Makes everything look nice and blended. Gonna do a little light contouring and highlighting. Contouring is so personal. So this is not meant to be taken as, hey, this is how you need to contour yourself. This is just how I contour. But like I said, I wanted you guys to see everything. And I'm using this is a Real Techniques, deluxe crease brush. This is actually for your eyes. And the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. This is the deeper shade. I'm not sure why I got this because it's too deep for me. I'm using just very small amounts. And then to kind of really blend it out, going back in with that sponge. Can't have contour without highlight. So now I'm gonna go in with a little highlighting. I'm gonna cover everything with a very sheer layer of powder. I adore this RCMA no color powder. I think it's $14 from beautylish.com. I'm literally popping this on. You can use a powder puff to do this too. Loaded this up, tapped off a bunch of powder, and then whatever's left, I just kind of go through and press it into the skin. And then when I feel that it's not dragging anymore, because I don't want to disturb the cream products I just used, that's when I go through and kind of start buffing. Like I could feel it dragging, so now I'm pressing and then buffing. Now going back in with that damp sponge to press that powder in again. When you're doing any sort of makeup that you really want to stand out, you want to cover your cream products with the same color powder products. That applies to skin, that applies to contour, highlight, bronze, blush, everything. So I want this contour to pop. So I'm going in with, this is the most amazing contour and bronze I've ever used. It's the Wayne Goss. Let me give you the correct name. Radiance Boosting Face Palette. Bronze and Sculpt. And this is the Satin Bronze color. It's the medium shade. This is Medium Taupe, and this is Bronze Glow. And so I'm going to take the contour color and my NARS Ita brush, and I'm just gonna cover right where I put the cream contour. And again, different for everybody. If you do what I'm doing here and doesn't look right on you, don't get mad at me, because again, this is my disclaimer. This is what works for me, might not work for everybody else. That's why Electra Lane offers bespoke makeup lessons. You can go to electralane.com and get yours. So I'm just bronzing, kind of the contour goes underneath. I'm bronzing right on top of that whole sort of cheekbone area. Again, pressing and then going back in and swirling and buffing to blend. Blush, I'm using the Wayne Goss airbrush and the Dim Infusion Ambient Lighting Blush from Hourglass. I like putting this super high up on the cheekbones and pulling up and back. And as you'll notice, it is covering a bit of that highlighter, but I'm okay with it because it still shines through and looks nice and glowy. So these are the lashes I'm using. They are Scott Barnes Vanessa lashes. He said he uses these on JLo, so obviously those are the ones I had to get. I've used them one other time before, and if you can see, I cut them because they were too long for me, and I've overlapped them just in the center. And what this does is this gives a little extra love to this section of the eye, so when I pop it on my eye, there's a little extra drama, if you can see right there, and it's gonna pull my eye shape kind of up and out and make them look a little bigger, which is exactly what I want. In the meantime though, I'm going to use these Ardell 811 Foam Ink, just because I don't want to waste those really expensive and very beautiful, very nice other lashes that I'm going to be wearing on my date. Lashes are on, but I have to apologize because the city decided to do maintenance outside my house today, which I'm thankful for, but it's a bit loud sometimes. So lashes are on. I'm going to let them dry, and I just put them on over my regular lashes. I haven't put mascara on. I haven't done any curling or anything. We're just kind of sitting them there and letting them hang out. I'm going to go with the brows now, and I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills dark brown eyeshadow powder. I don't know how long I've had this. It's that old. I just continue to sanitize it, but holy wow, this stuff just looks so beautiful, and I feel like it's super easy to apply. And I feel like it lasts. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. And then just setting them with a little Anastasia Beverly Hills clear brow gel. So while everything's still kind of drying, I'm going to apply my concealer. I'm using the Armani Luminous Silk concealer. And I'm also using this to kind of help finish highlighting my nose. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you get a professional makeup artist, they're gonna conceal you however you need to be concealed. There's no one right or wrong way. So just keep that in mind and do what works for you. And this is what works for me. I like to finish contouring the nose right here, putting some concealer on the sides of it, and just going along the corner of my eye. And then I also like to bring it down a little bit into that blush area to kind of blend the edges there, and of course around my nose and mouth. I'm gonna set that with powder in a little bit, but I want it to kind of move around and make sure it's not getting stuck anywhere, or see if I need more or less. In the meantime, let's finish up our lashes. I use two different types of mascaras. the stuff that I put on the top of my lashes never works for the bottom of my lashes. It slides around and goes everywhere. So this is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. Don't love it, but it's one of those tubing mascaras and tends to work really well on my bottom lashes. So just gonna apply a little bit of that right now first. And I'm gonna go in with, this is the Releve Eyelash Curler by Surat Beauty. I have had this for a million years and just recently found it. So I love how wide it opens up when you're doing fake lashes. So I'm just gonna get everything in here and give it a real gentle clamp so everything curls together. Love it. And this just sort of marries the two lashes. Now I'm gonna go in with my regular mascara and you can see my real lashes because they're white from the primer I used earlier. And I'm just gonna kind of cover those really, really well and let that sit for a minute. I'm not gonna do all of my lashes just yet. I do want a little bit more mascara, specifically in this kind of like region right here. This kind of, if this were like a rectangle area, right, kind of in the point, the outer edge, to lift. So I'm using this fan brush. This is by MAC, but you can get them anywhere. They're these little stiff mascara fan brushes. And I'm just gonna go into the base of my real lashes and kind of pull this up through the false lashes. And I like this because it keeps the mascara application on the false lashes from looking too heavy and too gunky. So at this point, this is usually when I tell my husband that we're coming in for a landing, meaning it's not going to be long until I'm done with my makeup that he can start getting ready. I like to go back in and sort of reassess, and my brows are looking a little funky on this side, so I'm going to clean this up. I'm using the Iconic Nude lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury and just lining the old lips. And this is Penelope Pink, also by Charlotte Tilbury. And then this is a color they don't make anymore, but the NYX Cosmetics gloss that's $5, the butter gloss, that's the shade Fortune Cookie, is the exact same thing. Focusing that kind of in the center. And final kind of once over, I just want to apply some powder. So I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the pink powder, magic powder, shade number 1. It is bright pink and it really does set the under eyes without being heavy. I'm using the Wayne Goss brush number 2. I'm using a just kind of a pointy brush, and I'm just patting this area right here so it doesn't look as shiny and it looks a lot more flat. I'm gonna go right through here. And remember, this is a brightening powder, so if you put this somewhere, it is going to highlight that area. Meaning, don't like put it over your bronzer or something. And then the last step, some setting spray, and then I'll show you the final look. There we go, all finished. The reason I'm coming back on here and talking where I normally just show pictures, I can come back and see if anything needs touched up. So as you can see, I have some mascara flakage here. Need a little more mascara here. It looks like there's a divot, but I just didn't get mascara right there. While I was over there, I noticed my eyebrow is cray cray. And these are all the little things that are gonna take your makeup up from just like, oh, I just did it, to, hey, your makeup looks really nice. It's these little teeny tiny details. I'm gonna go back in with a smidge more powder because I don't want to be quite this glowy right here. I want to be bright. I don't want to see how that like is nice and flat now. It's just such a good trick. Just right here. Just down the sides of the nose. All right. And sometimes that can happen too, like after you put your setting spray on, stuff can get a little kind of glowy or whatever. All right. There she blows. Thank y'all so much for joining. I really hope you learned something. If you did, if you try this look, let me know. I would love to cheer you on. And I so appreciate y'all being here. Please tell your friends if you liked it, and you guys can maybe get together and try the look out yourself while watching the video. It's always a fun time. and I'll see you next time.